Hey everybody, Larry and Al, back at it. Larry and Al, Search for Truth, episode number 50, a big 5-0. We have a special guest today, my son Brad.
Yeah, Brad, how you doing, Brad?
Good.
Hey.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to talk about Brad in a minute. I just wanted to kind of continue though saying that I was doing the math, and we go back since 1987. We started. That's when I met you.
Yeah.
So we're going on 38 years as friends and or colleagues and or co-workers.
Doing the thing.
And I feel blessed to be your friend after all these years. You still invite me to your house, and we get to have a cigar on your porch.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, Larry. It goes both ways. We talked about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And relationships is about compromise. Okay? And it's about knowing the other person and what their boundaries are and what their limits are. And don't push them past that. And that's what I remember, like I told you, when I chose you to work with me, I paid attention to you. I watched you. And I realized that you really were good with kids. And you were the opposite of me. You were soft.
You mentioned that, yeah.
You were soft, and you couldn't do the
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I could do the
Mm-hmm.
and still do the
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. You're one of my longest living friends.
Well, like I said, it's hard in life to, preserve a friendship, a relationship, any kind of relationship for that matter. But one as long as ours, we had the blessing of working together initially, but we stayed friends, and here we are many years after retirement, and we still get to do this. And like I said, the history of this was where we just videotaped some stories on our camera.
Yeah.
Brad and I were talking about it coming out here. We didn't have the technical expertise. Fortunately, we have our production manager, Elijah, who we always thank, and we can't thank enough for his ability to get us online and do what we need to do electronically and technically. So I appreciate that. So again, our title or our what we call ourselves is Larry and Al Search for Truth. So since this is a special
number 50,
number 50, you mentioned the last time we got together that you would like to see if Brad could come. And Brad is a busy man. And he's going to tell you a little bit about what he's doing.
I appreciate that.
His relationship with you, his relationship with me. And we'll just talk and let the time go. So anyway, Brad, welcome. And thank you for our podcast. Thanks for coming.
Congratulations on 50 episodes.
Yes.
Great accomplishment. Super cool. And thank you for inviting me and wanting me to be on it. It's an honor. And like I said, I do got a lot going on, but I was glad I was able to clear a schedule and everything worked out. And I'm happy to be here with you guys and sharing a cigar, and just look forward to chat.
Okay, cool. Cool. So I was just going to ask you, though, like I said, we search for truth. That's kind of what we always try to go back to, and we just talk, and that's our truth. So, when you hear that, search for truth, for yourself personally, what does that mean for you?
For me, just hearing you guys chat before we kind of got on here, just about family and life and just things of that nature. For me, searching for truth is what's most important in life and how to live. I think the right way. I think, which right when I walked in, Alex said, "Hard work, man. Right? Hard work. Hard work."
People don't understand that if you put the work in, you reap the benefits down the road. If you don't put any work in, you keep stumbling and bumbling and going like that. Like I'm saying, you were doing the night thing. I had a janitorial thing, and our main goal was how we take care of our family. That was it.
Well, if you don't mind, I can tell you when we first. So, flash forward about 5 years ago, I had a good job, corporate job. My wife was a teacher, 2 young kids, and for all intents and purposes, a good life. But I was not fulfilled. There was more truth out there. There was more that I knew I could do.
That's good.
And so started kind of going on a personal development journey and came and said, hey, it's time for me to do, my wife and I do our own thing.
Yeah.
Make our own kind of career path.
Yeah.
And so we opened the first business. So when we opened that first business, I was still working my full-time job. She was still teaching.
Yeah.
I was coaching at the gym. I was doing the sales. I was doing the build-out.
Yeah.
I was doing everything.
Yeah.
And so being there for my twin,
Yeah.
3-year-olds.
Yeah.
For years and years it went like that.
Right.
Before we ever took a dime out of the business, we ever got paid. I mean, we were working from sunrise to sunset. And now, obviously, things are in a much better place. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, you're so lucky, this and that. Like, luck ain't got nothing to do with it.
But the thing that I'm going to say this. The thing that motivated you because you had a twin kid.
Mm-hmm.
And what you was doing is you was laying a foundation for them so that when they didn't have to go through what you go through,
Sure,
and they can make the next step.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were working our asses off
Yes,
for a very long time without any reward. I can't tell you how many times we're like, we need this business to take the next step. Like, we don't know if we keep going the way that we're going.
Let me ask you a question. I know you had a little cadre of friends. How many supported, and how many said bye-bye?
Well, I don't think any of them could quite understand what it is that we had been through, what we are, and we are different people now than we were 4 or 5, like completely different people. And I'd say that we still have.
More guarded, or you pay attention, you read people much better than you used to?
I'm probably just more guarded because you can't keep saying yes to everything and doing things that you used to do if you want to do and elevate and do these things.
Because people will take advantage of it.
Sure.
It's just like I was talking about family. I had a birthday, and the cute girl said, "Dad, why don't you just go to Sequan and invite everybody to the place?" And so I was talking to your Aunt Marvell the other day. That's why what I did was I invited all the relatives that live in San Diego, which is a bunch. And the ones that showed up, I knew they were going to show up, but the ones that did show up was the ones that always asked for money. Okay, you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Because I'm in a unique situation. I'm an only child, but I'm the oldest of families on both sides. Next to the second oldest on one side, oldest on another side. So like I try to tell my cousin, I didn't ask to be the leader of the clan, but since I have these resources and things like that, I'm obligated to support and help. If you get off your ass, okay,
Sure.
If you get off your ass, but no, that sounds like you figured some stuff out.
I did. I mean, it took a while, and there was trust me, many times like, man, we had it just fine. Like, what are we doing? But now looking back, I can't picture it any other way.
Well,
and where we're going, and just all the doors we've opened, it's just such a whole different life out there that we're creating for ourselves that we wouldn't if we didn't take the risk.
But I have to jump in here, like I'm saying. But prior to that, 5 years ago, sort of shift in their him and his wife Kara's trajectory. They both were hard workers. You already had that work foundation. We're talking the truth here. We're always talking about search for truth. The truth was, as you mentioned when we first got here, and how it came up early in our conversation here about the hard work. So you were already a hard worker. You knew what hard work was through your sports, through your business, and through your education. And same with Kara. You guys are a great team. You work together. You both had that already. So the work, it always goes back to that work ethic, like you said, like you mentioned. And so that, I have to interject and say that came even before you made this switch.
See, you, what people don't realize, children watch their parents. Mm-hmm. If the parents are motivated in doing those things, then they say, well, okay, that's what I need to do, no matter whatever field or endeavor it is. They know how to go to work.
Yeah, okay? That's it. That's the key. They know how to go to work.
Because I asked my daughters one time. I said, about going to college, and they said, Dad, going to college. We was going to college. The only problem we had was what college were we going to go to? Mm-hmm. Okay, and they said, you made us independent. And see, when children are independent, they find themselves and they explore. And they go out and
giving them, teaching them to be independent.
Be independent. Right? Okay, but there's no doors closed to them.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Right. And one of the things I remember that I never did, I never said straight A's. You got to get straight A's. I never said straight A's. And I'm an educator. But the thing that I realized is that everybody learns at a different rate and struggles with education. Okay? But education is more than the books. Education is how do you get along with the guy over here? How you when you go on a job, you gotta do this. It's a jerk, but you gotta take care of your family. But how do you get along with that guy? We've been in those situations. Where people, our livelihood is getting on with this fool who's a jerk.
Well, we worked in a field where we had students that came to us who had some issues.
Yeah.
With authority.
Yeah.
And things in that nature, and we were able to understand it. We were able to accept
Batman and Robin,
and that's how we built our team, and that's how we built our programs and our success. But yeah, that's the key, like that.
Let me throw a number out to you, Brad. Okay, we started in 2000. I started counting, but before 2000 when it did that, we must have graduated maybe I say 500.
With high school diplomas.
The high school diplomas before the Casey. And I retired in 15. You retired in 16, right?
16, yeah.
And we from 2000 to then, 775 students with high school diploma passing the Casey.
And again, remember, these were kids that weren't destined for that. Right. And with we don't pat ourselves on the back, but we were there as part of that.
We supplied the impetus for them to go forward. Right. No matter what direction they wanted to go, we felt it was our obligation to give them the information. If a kid said, I want to be a doctor, I said, okay, but this is what you have to do to be a doctor. Okay, you just can't roll out and say, I'm going to be a doctor. You got to go to 6 or 7 years, 8 years of school.
You got to have math, you got to have science, you got to have science. I mean, the guys that I'm going to play in the NBA. We had a lot of kids that play in the NBA.
5 foot,
what's your jump?
2.
What's your jump? What's your leap ability? But hey, I would never pop the bubble. Just all I do is want you to think about it. You can't tell them no, they can't do it.
No, but you can say if you don't make it in the NBA, you can do this, you can do that. Okay.
Yeah, give them options, give them other alternatives.
Well, in my previous work, I would support some groups that would do after school stuff, and very similar to what you guys did, and
that's what
these
he was
kids
working at Chicks, right?
At Dick's, yeah.
Dick's.
So there was like this one dance group where these kids would be the first to graduate high school and go to college, and the average household income is like $20,000 for these families. Right. They all live together, and we're talking like literally what you guys did and what these other programs do are changing the trajectory of this family. Because this family's always been whatever, doing what they're doing, barely getting by, right, having kids in it. Now, this one's going to college and going to be a doctor. Guess what? That whole family trajectory is completely shifted. And the more you can do of that, it makes the world a better place. So, those 750 kids, did they all probably go and do great things? No. But they sure as heck had a better chance because of what the two of you guys do and what other programs like.
Right, exactly what you did. And I remember you doing that. And I remember the commonality between what you were doing and some of the work that we had done, but I remember you working with those, what we call high risk, or those disadvantaged or disenfranchised.
One of the things that I'm thinking about is where as a country, we got derailed with education. I was just thinking about, when I first went to probation. Remember the first thing back then, you had to take the test, remember? And that was a test, and after the test, then you had to have 2 years of college. Yeah. Then you had to have 4 years of college. You kept on putting the thing down there to thin out. But I think that when they did the test, that was when you got the most qualified kind of people. Okay. But the one thing about our educational system is that they put all their emphasis on going to college instead of where's those guys at the plumber? Where's the guys? Those guys. Okay?
The
tradesmen. Which now that's what they want, but they can't.
That's what they need.
Yeah, they need them now, and you know with the crazy political system, those guys are coming in from India and Pakistan or wherever they come from, becoming doctors and stuff. Then now they're going back. They're not staying here no more.
Well, why would they stay here? Because they're not really welcome here. You know, right now in this political climate that we're in. So that's a whole other issue for another time, or not even. But that's the reality.
You heard you say it. Don't cut off your nose despite your
the
face.
talent pool. Where's the talent pool?
Oh man, because I'm gonna have to say this, Larry.
Okay.
The white boys are lazy ass son of a guns. Okay. And the reason why
I can't disagree.
Reason why
the truth is
the reason that is that the structure that they had was structure of being entitled,
right,
and not having to get their hands dirty.
A system that entitled them, and they could just reap the benefits. But that's over. That's changed.
Yeah, and this is what's going. This is why they have a hard.
I'm not kidding. That's
but they say, like, here's the thing too is hard work, so I deserve this. Mm-hmm. You don't deserve anything, mm-hmm. and that's some things that I learned is like, okay, I've been working hard, so that doesn't mean it's guaranteed anything.
Ain't nothing guaranteed.
And you got to keep working hard. And guess what? There's somebody. Sometimes you when you get to meet other people and start doing things. Oh shit! I wasn't really working that hard.
As hard as some others.
Because look at all these other people, and you're exposed to it, right? Of like, okay, like no, I got to do more, and you got to keep doing it, and eventually it'll pay off. But it's not like I do this, so I automatically.
It's not an entitlement. That's what I'm thinking. You think
my
you work hard, it's an entitlement.
When I was a little boy, he said the two things I remember. Okay? And, my mother told me when I was 4 years old, I was a prince of this world. My responsibility is to take care of those people that are less fortunate than me. Then, and my dad used to say that you don't go around telling people how good you are. You let them tell you that if you're worth anything, they'll tell you how good you are. You don't tell them. You don't tell them. And those are the things that stuck with me about, you know, but how do you get along with people? And they always told me you have to work hard. You don't work hard.
That's what sunk in, huh?
Twice as hard. Okay? I mean, we always talk about, and I always ask your dad, I said, what did the people say about me? And your dad, he don't come clean all the time. But I knew what they said. And I would just keep on doing my job because I'm working with kids. That was the most important thing. And it wasn't about me. Because everybody, people would say, oh shit, they can't be doing this. They can't be doing this, they can't be doing that. And what did we do, man? We sat down and we planned out what we were going to do. How we were going to attack the situation.
Well, when we came together, we didn't really know each other that well.
No, didn't know you.
And we got together with that program where we went out to the
Shoemate put us together.
Well, Shoemate was you tell me that story, and I'm eternally grateful for him because I think he was the catalyst for us getting together.
Yeah, because he told me, he said, man, do me a favor. I said, what? I got this buddy of mine, he needs a job.
Because he was a probation when I was in So he knew me from that experience. Yeah. So he obviously, I didn't say we were particularly close, but I knew him, he knew me. Yeah. But he, like you, I think he saw something in me that he thought. So he went to you, which you had a lot of respect for him because you guys had a really good working relationship. Yeah. And so you took for what he said to heart, and of course you brought me in. But what I was meaning is that we grew together in our philosophy. But when we got together, our intention was to build a program to help these kids, to help the kids that really were falling through the cracks, even through our system. Right. And so that was our motivation, and that's what we grew together, and that's how we came to such a club.
We started out at the Santa Ana in the morning. My dad would come in, he'd get there, we'd hook up at 6 o'clock in the morning. He'd leave out there at 4 o'clock. We'd get there at 6, we'd get the donuts and stuff like that. You see a group there. You go over to Garden Grove, and your mother got
the senior citizen or grandma used to go in the senior citizen.
She was a jewel.
He loved his grandma. So.
Yeah. And then we go to Westminster, and then we go back to the site, and people didn't believe. Oh, you guys!
They thought we were out drinking coffee somewhere,
shit.
just collecting money, you know. But that's what people believed. That was the perception.
That was their perception.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did.
Sure.
See, that's what they did. I mean, we remember when we had our first graduation, and they were shocked.
Yeah, we graduated 5 kids.
Nine kids.
Okay, 9 kids that nobody expected.
Mm-hmm.
And then Carla was then in that first group.
Mm-hmm.
Carla's still. That was how many? That was back in what year was that? 90.
It had to be. My dad passed in '89, so it had to be 90.
So 90.
Yeah.
And so Carla is still a really good friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was one of the first ones.
One of the first of that group. Yeah. That we still. She ended up working for the Department of Ed and working.
She worked for us for 13, 14 years.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And I remember I used to tell her, I said, one day they're gonna come and get you because they can't, because they can't believe. And they said, because every time, like when the principal would go on vacation, and I would say to myself, I'm gonna get changed. Something's gonna change
because he was gone.
He was gone. He didn't have the nuggets to do it. Okay, and then they finally took her. And because everybody thought, well, she's the one who's running the show. And I'm thinking, but we talk about respect. And people, and I'm being honest about this, this is true. People couldn't respect me because I was a black man doing the things that they were supposed to be doing, but they couldn't get their mind around it.
Yeah, that's the key. You couldn't get their mind.
They couldn't get their mind around it. We can't be doing this. I mean, we had ROP, we had all the hookups, and people would say, well, how do you need to get off your ass and go get things? We had a kid, we came in and said, well, we want to do blah, 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 blah. Then me and Larry would go get the information and get the hookup.
I want to do this, or I'm thinking about this. Okay, let's see what we can find.
Well, that's one of the biggest things I've learned is talk and plan out all, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Action is what matters.
You gotta have
many people, I want to do this, I want to do that.
You gotta have action.
You gotta okay, then here you go. Go do it. And go make mistakes.
Yes,
very important.
But too many people have got to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. No. And here's what you do. You just go do it. So I look back, that first business, we had no idea what the hell we were doing. We didn't. And we are a lot better now, and we learn a lot, but I look back and I'm like, Karen and I, sometimes we'll be like, remember we did this and we did that, and we're like, what the hell were we thinking?
You learn
because we did it, and you made mistakes, and you get better.
You learn the things that we had got so well. We learned the things that worked. Okay, the things that didn't work, we got them out of there.
But you don't know until you actually start doing it.
Because people will say, well, why do you bring them donuts and burritos in the morning? And I said, well, some of these kids don't eat.
Sure.
And I said,
can't concentrate.
And the guys that would come in 8:45, 9 o'clock, said, well, can I get a cup of coffee? No, you got to get here at 7:30. You got to get here at 7:30. If you want to eat, get here at 7:30. And we had donuts and
oh yeah, we used to cook for them.
Well, little things, but that built the trust, right? And say. Maybe that's what brought them in the beginning, and then they stayed because of what they were learning.
Don't bring those donuts one day and they'll go, where's the donuts?
Yeah. But what we used to have, and this is how good our population was, is that when we get the knucklehead to come in, you get the knucklehead to come in, and we didn't have to do any prep because the kids would tell us, don't come in here messing around. We got a good thing.
We built that good culture.
Yeah, we had my weekend on Mondays, and we did germ papers, we did Casey prep, but we interacted with the kids every day. We went through their folders. You have to, the real simple thing to do. You had to do at least 2 assignments in each one of your subjects. And I was a counselor, so I gave the subjects and stuff like that. And Larry taught math and stuff like that. We helped each other out that way. But you gotta be flexible, and you gotta have. And I think what you'll find out, and you pay attention to your children because they're watching you.
That's why I wanted to ask you as we were thinking here, because we talked about we often talk about our kids and you know the work that we did to help raise them, you and Kelly and then Al, Kimberly and Raquel and Terry, and how important the kids were. So when you think about what you're doing, you and Kara are doing, how do you see that influencing Brooke and Riley?
Well, we, in general, talk obviously openly about things because one, Kara and I work at home a lot, and right, we're not leaving and coming back at 5 p.m. and we're so they're just ingrained already into the business and things we're doing, and by default of just seeing. But then we also will talk about where are you going? Oh, we're going to do interviews. What's an interview? And this and that. Yeah. And like we talk, I mean, they're only 7, but we talk very openly about the business and things we have to do. And they know about people being fired and why was this person fired. And you know, you could be like, why are you exposing this? You know, could be right, wrong, or different.
The sooner they learn about the structure of how society works and how the workforce works, the more they will be able to appreciate down the road.
Sure.
Okay, because I know, Kim used to, I like Markel, I told Markel, I said, Markel was going to Santa Barbara. I said, well, when you come home, come work. I don't know. I said, okay. So Kim would say, Dad, can I go to work with you? I said, yeah, go to work with you. I'll show you how to do trash can and stuff like that. She, you can take $10 or whatever. Y'all done? You got the chicken?
Be careful with the floor. I put a towel so that way you don't slip.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Take care.
Okay. I'll
see you next week. Okay.
Okay.
Good seeing you, Otis.
Well, yeah. You take care of the little girl.
Be careful. Okay.
Well.
With the floor.
Oh yeah. No, I ain't gonna slip on that. I'm gonna watch softball later on when these guys go. We watch the softball. So them girls will be wizard.
That one's cool.
Okay. Okay. Good.
I'll see you.
Take care.
Bye.
She got a rub shampoo thing. And first she had the little one. I said, she get the one that stands up. And do that. She does a hell of a job. Oh man, let me tell you what.
You're lucky. You're blessed to have her.
I mean, she's a hell of a masseuse. And so her day off is on Thursdays, and I do like all my doctor's appointments and stuff like that on Thursdays. Stuff like that. But no. But you'll find you're doing, what you're doing is the best way to teach kids, because you got to teach them at home. Like I was telling Larry, I mean, every waking hour I was with my kids. When I coach in softball or whatever, they said, Dad, we want you to coach. I said, well, if you ask me to coach, I'm gonna coach you. But you know how I am. And if you once we commit, blah blah blah. But my kids were wreck kids. You know what I'm saying? They had good skills, but they want the only one that probably would go to the batting cage was Kim, and she was the best one out of the 3 of them. But I learned from what my father did. My father never pushed me.
His father was a gold medalist, right?
Yes, I do remember this.
And he never pushed. Okay, but he said, back in the old days, we would go to the park and
Tell him what his dad told him about. You don't need to be out there jumping and running. You need to get a job. So tell him the story.
Inward, why are you running and jumping? You need to go get your ass a job.
And then he ended up being a gold medal.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought that was an interesting.
But he was 5'8" cap.
Yeah, and also very
smart, but he hooked him.
Well, the decisions we make, right?
Oh yeah. She was. To just show you what. She graduated from high school. She was 15. She married my father. She told him she was 18, but she was only 16. And I was born when she was 17. Okay, and she only had a high school education. She traversed life at the highest level.
Even though she had that
Yeah.
There's some truth to that, right?
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
what I'm-
I mean, I still remember the things that she told me. Now I'm 81 years old. Okay, but what I had to do, being an only child, I had to navigate, and her and stuff like that, and I was thankful that the last part of her life that she was in a group situation. She used to 50 herself all over the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And she said, baby, she said, baby, I'm taking a rest. I said, okay.
How long would she go in?
She's going for 39 days.
Wow.
She's going for 30.
Check herself in for
She's
39 days.
39 days. And then on the 40th day, she was gone. She was smart.
Well, I was amazed that you told me. I never knew that all of the years I've known you, that she came down to your house in Fullerton and knocked on your door.
Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning.
And I-
Showed up and found you. Somehow found you.
Oh, she knew that.
She had the resources. Huh?
She,
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a whole other world.
oh, man.
I couldn't even find my way home sometimes.
Shit, man. That woman, and she would have people call me on the phone and say, how dare you treat your mother like that? I'm thinking, oh, Lord. And I would tell her, I said, you don't even know how much trouble you're in that way. But no, so you got a gym up in Northern California.
Yeah.
And you got 2 in Southern California.
Yeah.
And whereabouts in Southern California?
Our one that we opened 4.5 years ago is in Murrieta, and then the one we're opening right now is one city over in Temecula.
Okay, so that's good. That's good. And
Tell us a little bit about F45. What kind of a little bit? What got you interested in it? I remember the story a little bit, but what got you? And really, what is it? What is F45?
Yeah. Well, I told you about whatever 5 years ago, 6 years ago, kind of going on a personal development and wanting to do something. Didn't know what, right? Just knew I was open-minded and knew, hey, I don't want to work for me. I didn't want to work for the man the rest of my life. And like I said, I enjoyed my job and all that, but I go, it was never fulfilling, and I never liked that. No matter what I could do,
he wasn't in control of you.
correct. And I could do all this great stuff, and then it didn't. Hey, pat on the back, and that was that. I wanted something where, hey, I can. There's no ceiling.
You can see what you're doing, and you can go whatever way you want to
The
go.
impact that I have is directly resulted in my work, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I was just open-minded, and I literally played golf with the guy and just chatting it up with him, and him and his wife owned a couple F45. And okay, I'm starting to see that. And then I there was one in Temecula at the time, and so I said, I'm going to go take a class and see. And I went in there, came home, told my wife, said, we're opening an F45. She goes, what are you talking about? And I go, you need to go see for yourself. This is amazing. This is exactly what we need, our community needs. And we kind of just said, all right, screw it. Let's see what we can do. And
and so right now you're probably an integral part of your community.
So we got at our Murrieta location 400 people that are at our gym. Right, we're one of the best gyms in the F45 in California. Where it took a long time to get there, but we impact people's lives.
You okay? Well, hey, both of us. Hey, that's the word of the day: survival. Okay. It's good to see you. Okay. All right. Well, it's good to see you. She's next to me.
Oh, that's your name.
You don't know. She's a friend of mine.
Oh, friend of the
But to your point, so we're much more than in a place where you just come in and work out and leave. Community is the word that we, and that can be thrown around a lot, but we truly are. Friendships are built.
Right.
Not only do we come in and work out, but hey, what are you eating? What are you doing at home? We're a place of really therapy sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're the best part of people's days, right? They leave and then go to work, do this or that.
Do you have other activities there besides the gym?
Well, we do a lot of stuff outside of the gym to just build bonds. And once again, we're there to support these people, not just in their fitness, but just, we always say, transform minds, bodies, and souls.
Yeah.
So we're not just there. We don't have mirrors. It ain't like, hey, I want a six-pack. I want to be just healthier. Good example, one lady recently, you get to the why you want to join this and that. I want to keep up with my grandkids.
Yes.
Right. I want to run my first 5K, whatever these things that they've never been able to do. We help them with that, and trust me, there's a lot of moms and grandmas and dads for that matter too. That hey, I can't keep up with this or that, so I go to a regular gym and I don't know what I'm doing. We got coaches and we're there. Hey, you come in through the door, you're going to get a great workout. You're going to get motivated. You're going to be encouraged. You're going to get lots of high fives, and you're just going to feel better about like life in general. So it's so much more than just a gym.
It's a community.
100%.
And that's what we don't have anymore.
It does provide people who maybe don't have that in other parts of their life. Like you said, they don't feel that way, but they can go there and they feel welcome. They feel part of it.
Well, some people, hey, I just moved in. I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
But hey, you're going to meet a ton of like-minded, good people in here, and we do. You see them come in, and next thing you know, they're hanging out. They're good friends. They're getting coffee together. Hey, we're going to a Padres game, or we're going to have a social event here, and people are there, meeting up and hanging out. So it's so much more than, like I said, just.
It reminds me of the old days when they would have, somebody's house would be the focal point kind of thing where everybody would hang out and doing things that, you needed this or you needed that. Or
like neighborhood things, like a neighborhood collaborative.
Yeah, because I remember.
That's missing now.
Oh, man, I remember, man. You got walking down the street and the lady who said, out to steal, I'm going to tell your mother. Or out to steal, I'm going to whoop your ass. Okay?
And with your mom's blessing. Your mom said I could do it.
And so you would say, oh, shit, I better be careful what I do. But it was the community thing, because, I used to do some crazy stuff. We lived in an apartment building.
Where's this in?
It's in Berkeley. Yeah, and so I used to order Chinese food for the ladies across the street. And they would drive up and they would bring the food and they said, well, you don't want no Chinese food. I did some stuff, man. I used to run away from home. Oh, man.
You were a terror. You told me you were a terror.
Oh, man.
Up in school, all the way up to your coach got a hold of you at your junior year, right?
Yeah, junior high school, man. George Poles. He coached
about him a lot.
He coached, Frank Robinson, Beta Pinson, all those guys. Lynn Gableson. Kurt Flood.
These are some classic legends.
And he was. George Poles was this little bitty guy, and he taught me the theory of baseball. Not only did he teach me how to play baseball, and, when I was doing Little League over there, they would say, "Hell," they would say, when kids leave you, they're ready to go.
There's a lot to that game that people don't even know.
Baseball is
that's like an iceberg.
All sports is mental.
Yes,
mental is a huge part that. Sometimes people, you got the talent or whatever. Yeah, but you ain't got no head on you. It doesn't matter.
How do you apply the talent? Yeah. Okay, and how do you? Baseball is a team. Is an individual team sport. Okay. But you still got to be a part of the team.
Right. Hey, that's a good way of putting it. I never heard it that way, but an individual team sport. Very right. It's very, very accurate, I think, with baseball. But
yeah,
crazy.
So, and everybody has to be able to be alert. Know where to be on any given situation. Everybody has a spot to be.
Yeah. And every single pitch.
On every single pitch. A ball hit here and hit over there. You have a place to be.
Exactly. It all has to lock in. The best teams, it's all locking in with that team.
Yeah.
And those are the teams that excel and end up winning it.
That was it. But football got me, a scholarship and got me through college. But when I came in, I tried to play one more year. I tried to play at St. Anna, and I couldn't. Because I had been playing baseball since I was 7 years old, all the way up until I was 20. Mm-hmm. Then when I got back from Vietnam, I was 24, and man, it was gone. Because baseball is a repetitive thing.
Yeah.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, muscle memory. More than probably any other sport.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe golf.
I went out there playing football, and all I had to do was hit the hole, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, a lot more basic in that regard. Yeah. What about basketball? You were a basketball player extraordinaire. You feel that way? How's basketball translate to what we're talking about right now?
I mean, I just think, well, sports in general.
Yeah.
I mean, when part of I worked at Dick's for a long time. I always wanted to be in sports. You knew that, loved sports growing up and all that. And I always thought, well, sports make you better, right? Teach you sportsmanship, right? Yeah, culture, work hard. Work ethic is. You can't just show up to the game and expect it. You got to put the time in practice, and then you got to be in the weight room, film, and you gotta, all these things.
You got to push that guy that has the skill and ability to work hard.
100%.
Okay.
But so then, kind of the same thing with this gym too. Is I know that people that come to our gym are better because they come and spend time and surround themselves with good people. And I think sports is the same thing. That's what I love. I mean, you got to be involved in something, and working towards something. And get that mindset, like you said, that hey, I can't just show up and think I'm going to be successful. I gotta.
It's just the same thing with education. You just can't come in the classroom and sit there and vegetate.
Right.
You got to participate.
Yeah. You got to participate, and you got to do the outside work. You got to do the reading. You got to do the study. You got to do the exercises.
Yeah.
Well, back to what you were just saying, Brad. You and Kara are business people. Of course, this is your business. But your sports background makes you that much even better in what you do because you have that philosophy. So it's not just the business of numbers. It's about the understanding, athleticism.
Right.
So that you have the perfect combination. Yeah, it's not just a business. It's not just I'm opening the door and collecting the money. I always said what I love about Brad and his wife Kara. I'll go to some of their events, right? Mm-hmm. And there may be 60, 70 people in the gym, and they're doing their different thing. And here's Brad and Kara, and they're over in the corner doing the activity. You don't even know they're the owners. They are so low key, so low pro. He has some trainers, he has some guys that lead the thing, but they walk the walk, and they're part of it, and they don't try to say, hey, look at me, I'm important, and they'll get introduced, and they can raise their hand. But that's what I really admire about the two of them and how they
Stepping on the side.
Yeah, because it's not about us. I mean, good leader takes the blame, right? When things go wrong, and when gives the credit to the other people.
Well, you guys do that, and that really impresses me.
That's the number one thing you learn in the Marine Corps is that I was a squad leader, and you learn you ate last, and you guys got whatever was the goodies. They got the goodies.
Right.
You
stood in the line last.
Yeah.
You got what was left.
Well, there's literally a good book that I've read. Leaders eat last.
That's right.
I mean, just that title right there tells you
always.
You eat last. And being a leader is damn hard. I will tell you that, because a great example is Kara the other day bought some stuff for the coach, just put it in the bag. Thanks for all your hard work. Mm-hmm. You know how many people? How many thanks she got? Zero. Yeah. And we're trying to tell our other leader, because same thing. He's struggling. He's a great leader, but just how hard it is. And we use that example, and he's like. I'm like, so you don't do things.
No, you don't do it
to sit there and say, I want the appreciation. Yeah. It would be nice and still the right thing to do. But it's just going to show you, it's like, yeah, we do this. They should do that for us because we do this now.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. We lost that in the generation after us is when you got the parents that gave without restriction, okay? I mean, my dad would tell me, if you want some money, you go out there and shine some shoes. Okay,
like that, We'll trade it entitlement, right?
Okay, but that generation after that, we struggled. Then they gave the kids the phone. They gave the kids the tremendous fairs or whatever it was, without them earning it. And so what happens when they grew up, okay, they had no boundaries.
Well, when you get into the real world, mom and dad ain't there to hand you everything, and that's a little bit of a shock.
That's what you're trying to prepare for.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I know there'll be, oh gosh, mom, all my other friends got the phone. They got, at 16, they got this nice car. Hey, we'll probably be in a position to do all that. We're not going to do that. I say, hey, I'm not going to make you go like hungry and all that, but you got to go.
You got to earn it.
You got to earn it and do it yourself, and we'll show you and give you the tools to do it, but you got to go do it. Shaq, everyone knows Shaq. He tells his kids, I'm rich, you ain't rich.
Yeah.
And I love that. Because that's all mine. Once you're 18, you got to go figure it out yourself.
Yeah, because you're not doing them any good if you just give it to them, right?
It's true.
You just pass it on. You're not preparing them because you ain't going to be there forever. And your goal is to when you go, that they can keep moving forward.
They keep on moving forward. Like I said, one of the things I'm proud about my children, I never paid the bill. When they got grown, I never, if I saw something that they needed, I just go right there, but they never asked.
I know that. I mean, we talk about your girls all the time, and they're not really girls, but they're ladies. But the job you've done, you and Brenda did, and I'm always impressed with who they are.
They keep you in line.
And before I sign out here, we're going to sign out here quickly. Kimberly, I'm really sorry, man. The cigar, hey, I twisted his arm and I made him smoke it. So you know how easy your dad is influenced. So, but I apologize up front about the cigars. But I love them. I love my cigars.
I tell her, I said, only time I smoke cigars when Larry's over. That's when we smoke cigars. And but it's good that my children know who you are, and they know that we have a relationship. Right.
Well, this is special. It really is special. And, having you here today is very special. Like I said, I want to thank you, Al, for suggesting Brad, because I hadn't thought of it. And we said, well, we need that 50th. We need to kind of have a little something special, a little pop.
Yeah, this is
and
special.
I thought about it, and he said, what about Brad? And I said, well, I can ask. I know he's busy, but
I appreciate you coming, Brad. I mean, I really do. Because your dad called me last night. He said, maybe you can't come. I said, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, the thing... The critical things about life is, do you understand boundaries? Not only your boundaries, but other people's boundaries. Okay? And you don't push people because you want to do something. Because I remember my aunt, Willa Mae, she said to me, I said, Auntie, I want to bring my dad down. This was in his later life. And I said, I want to bring him down to live with me. And she said to me, is that what you want to do? Or is that what Willie wants to do?
Yeah, right. I remember you telling me that.
And I'm thinking, wow, okay. But you can't control another human being.
No. I love your saying, but you can't tell grown folks what to do.
You can't tell grown folks what to do. Because they don't listen. Okay? The ones that listen, I have a cousin. We've been on this journey. One been on the journey for 20 years, and the other one we've been on the journey for 10 years. And he came to me and says, "Cuz, I want to be like you." I said, "What do you want to be like you?" Well, you come to San Diego, you do this and that, da. And I said to him, you know what I said to him? What do you think the first thing I said to him? I said, do you believe in God? Because if you believe in God, we can talk. But if you don't believe in God, I can't talk to you. Because you have to have, whatever your spiritual inclination is, you have to be able to have empathy for the fellow human being. Not sympathy, but empathy.
Yeah, there's a difference. There's a difference.
Yeah. And how to help folks, okay? Like I told
you. Truly understand, and empathy is
just putting yourself
literally in their skin, in their shoes,
and then you understand what they're going
you really
through.
feel it for real, genuinely. And that's what we always, as I say, that's what
I think that's what we did.
Search for truth
with the kids that we had.
That's the thing. You could say we had our differences here and there, but we always got back to what was important for that kid, that individual kid, and what could we do to help that kid get wherever they thought they needed to be.
You know, in closing, what I want to say is that you never close the door on your kid.
Always left the light on. You just say, leave the light on.
Leave the light on. And sometimes it was 4 or 5 times. Mm-hmm. But then
how many? Fuck you. and then. Hey, can I come back? Yeah, come on in.
You used to call me the N-word. And I looked at him. I said, "Okay, are you through? Are you through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you done?
Are you done? Okay. Well, I said, son. I said, I've heard that all my life, but it didn't stop me from doing what I needed to do. I never get time to turn in. We were at the house over there, and she came in. She was like 4, 5 years old. And she said, "Daddy, they calling me, blah, 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 blah." I said, "Oh." I said, "Okay." And I said, "You got 2 choices. Go back outside and play because it ain't going to stop. Or you go upstairs and play with your toys. I wasn't going to get out there in the middle of the street with some fool, lose my house, go to jail.
Right.
You got it there? Yeah. And the purpose, the whole purpose of my children seeing me, what was that? Mm-hmm. So, and my children grew up here, and like I said, Dad, suppose we marry a white boy, and blah, 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 blah. And I said, "I don't care, you can marry a zebra, as long as I don't care. That's your decision to be able to make that, but to say the one thing, put their hands, those that don't put their hands on it, I'm good. But you gotta open up the spectrum for people, because too many people are just going here and they see this, but they don't see all the things that are out there in the whole wide world. Because you see now things are so fast, but the thing that happens is that if you don't read, if you don't have knowledge, people take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And this is what's happening. You take a whole lot of people
being swooned by
well, you know what a tariff is, don't you? After we talked about
No, what is a tariff?
The tariff is that you import this thing from over there. I receive it. Okay? Then I pay your tariff, and then I pass that on to the people that are going to buy my product.
We were talking a little bit about that coming out here.
It's not difficult, but he's got people believing that it's a great thing. Well, see, I'm gonna tell you what. I ain't never seen a man that can tell the story, because he makes that statement, and this is cool. I love the uneducated man. Why? Because you can fool. Barnum and Bailey. You got no
Barnum and Bailey, yeah. Fool is born every day.
But see, where he got his stuff from was from the lawyer
Cohen, right?
Cohen that did when I was a little kid. I used to watch it on the TV. McCarthy, when they had the McCarthy hearings and stuff like that. And when McCarthy he doing the same thing, he's doing the same thing McCarthy did. Give you that and make you. Like you said now, well, when we gonna end the tariffs? Well, in 2 weeks, da. It's always down the road. But see what he does is that he goes eventually. What he says over here eventually will be true, but down here it happens. But guess what happens in between? Terrorizes everything.
A lot of pain.
Oh, he said pain. You got to go through some pain.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But anyway, listen, I wanted to say 50th. I know we went way over our regular time.
Right.
But this was a special
50th,
edition.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, this is one of my simple pleasures is to come and visit with you.
I know.
We had my son here,
Yeah,
Brad.
I appreciate
it was a pleasure having Brad. We appreciate you having our special celebration of number 50.
Yeah.
So
let's go to cigar.
Had a cigar. Appreciate that very much.
Oh, man.
So I'm happy to be here, and hey, work hard, but you got to take time to enjoy the hard work too.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm happy to be here on a Thursday at 12 smoking a cigar with you guys, because I worked hard to be able to do that.
He's got to go back to work.
You got to go back.
His work never ends.
But I want to say thank you for coming by. I mean, I
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
It was a blast. It was fun. Glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, I love your comments, and I know your dad is really proud of you. Your dad is really proud of you, and I'm just happy that I'm in your spectrum.
Well, I'm glad you had some influence on him. I know he's known
No
you
influence.
for. Yeah, you did.
I do.
We talked about the time we used to go to your apartment,
Yeah,
watch the
no,
Super
that
Bowl,
was a good
cooking
time.
barbecue on the back of my truck, packing your house with about 100
Jambalaya.
Jambalaya.
Jambalaya, man.
Jambalaya.
My buddy AJ is still talking about that
They still
jambalaya.
talking about the jambalaya.
Yeah.
So some great times.
That was
But I appreciate you being a part of my life, but also a part of his life too. So
I'm just happy for the invitation.
Yeah. happy to be there, right?
Good man. Good man.
Happy to be there, and this is probably the most important thing in life. And this is what when my children say, "Dad, you want to go?" I say, "Okay, I'm ready to go." I said, I got to get a bucket, and I'll get in the car, and you hold my invitation. But the one thing that I whatever they say, when they come up over the football season, they come over football and watch some football, they order food. Whatever you want.
Terry's real good about coming and watching. You guys love the Rams.
Yeah, Rams will watch movies.
Watch a movie. So
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's awesome. But anyway, well, I appreciate it. We are
Thank you.
checking out.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody. Don't forget to subscribe and hopefully F45, baby. Check out F45. F45 in Murrieta, Temecula, and Northern California and Rockland. So Rockland, right? Roseville. That's
Roseville.
close enough.
Close enough.
All right.
Yeah, that's where the 49ers do their thing up there. Roseville or Rockland?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know either. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they have their summer camp.
All right, brothers and sisters. Peace out. Thank you again, Elijah. You're the man, and we will talk to you next time. 50 and out. Those of you that are out there listening, subscribe to our page so that you can get the notifications of when we're going to record again.